Welcome, everyone. I'm here today with Savannah. We are going to cover today priority systems and why it is one of the biggest bottlenecks that I see on every kind of CEO call, consulting call that I'm doing, and every human that we are out here optimizing is them lacking a priority system at the core of a lot of the issues they're doing. And so I want to start by saying why a lot of people are lacking the priority systems is because in the environment of growth, you're trying new things, right? So people are A/B testing in this domain. And then what happens is because they didn't calculate, like we've covered on some other videos, the variables times values. This is the core of success and failure in life is the variables times values that a lot of people aren't paying attention to. When you actually calculate those, you know how long to do something before you're going to reach the win. But what people are not doing, they're not calculating the variables times values, which means they're going into an area, trying this kind of copy, trying this product, trying this management style, trying this new anything, this new method, this new strategy, whatever. They're going in, they're trying for a little bit, and then after a week or 2 weeks, maybe an hour, maybe a month, they're like, okay, this isn't working, and they stop, or they kind of just put less energy into it, and then they start some new initiative where they're like, well, I think this one might work too. And they have this like hope strategy, and then they put themselves across 3, 4, 5, 10 different things, and they're doing a little bit of each one because they still have some belief in each one, but they don't have enough belief to put all their resources and energy into it, right? And so this right here is the core of people lacking a priority system because they want to put their time and energy across 5, 10 different products because they're like, I don't know which one's going to win, so let me just try all of them. But now your limited time, energy, and money resources are spread across 10 different things. So now you're getting 1/10 your speed forward in life or in your business. You're getting 1/10 because you're spread across 10 different projects because you're hoping each one of those is going to win instead of calculating which one is going to win. And you can calculate which one's going to win even in the areas of new growth by saying that the A/B testing of the variables and the values, which you can calculate, I need to try this steak dose with this salt, with this, like in any sort of cooking capacity is the example, but same thing for copywriting, same thing for landing pages, same thing for managing teams, same thing for creating a product and how you set up molecular structures, anything. You can calculate the A/B test that you need to do to where you're calculating the experiments and the failures you would need so that when you have the failures, you don't actually incur this as oh, this path isn't working. You go, I know exactly how many variables and values I need to test. And I'm supposed to actually go through that many failures and experimentation before I find the right combination that is the win. So this lack of calculating the variables and values is the core of why people are not able to see a success in the timeline they expect, which then causes them to start another project, and then dilute their time, energy, and capital resources across 10 products, which then, or 10 initiatives or 10 ideas, which then lowers your speed by 1/10, which means a 1-month thing is now a 10-month thing because you're spread across so many things.
Well said. I mostly talk to founders as well, and something that I constantly see within so many teams is that they're lacking a priority system and they cannot decide which are the most important things they need to be doing between now, today, this week, the next week, and then within the month, within the year, 2, 5, 10-year points. And it's mostly the people that I see with the most ambitious goals that lack these priority systems. And I see this a lot in some founders who start an e-commerce company and then they get bored of it and then they start a food company and then they start 10 different projects. And those are some people that you look at them and you're like, you're highly ambitious, but you cannot prioritize which thing will give you the most fulfillment for a great amount of time that won't dilute to where you can start a ton of amazing companies, but also you need to add in the people science and add in the ability to hire multiple people between those teams. Because if you prioritize, let's say, the e-commerce company over starting the food company, and you actually plan it out and prioritize which one you're going to do first and delay it either by months or years or even between like a few weeks to create some latency to where you can do some hiring in between. Because if you have the capital to deploy between 2 different initiatives and you can use people science, hire on great team members to either be co-founders or to help run that team and create like amazing like operational systems between the two, then you can add them both into your priorities. But if you don't create a priority system, then you end up, like you said, starting several different half-baked ideas, and then all of your ideas will not reach the level of success that you want any of them to in a proper time frame. Because you can start multiple different projects at a time, but that also means that you're not reaching a level of success in any of them until you can get each of those 10% up until 80, 90% where you want them to be. So yeah, prioritize exactly what you want for now that will be fulfilling within your business, like especially within hiring. Who do you need to hire right now that's the highest priority that will either take work off of the plates of like some of either your CEOs, your co-founders, things like that, or hire people on that are needed in very specific areas to run specific departments that will create more revenue, more impact for your business as quickly as possible to be able to scale at the proper amounts that you want them to scale. So priority system in general for your personal life, your business life, hiring, every single facet of this creates so much more scalability and speed, and also just creates the frequency within yourself and your business to be able to have those like micro wins and huge wins much quicker than if you were to try to achieve multiple things at a time without setting priorities. Because also with setting priorities, it sets expectations between you and your team at all times, which creates so much clarity too for your entire team to know what's going on, what we're working on, and what we're driving towards. Because when you have multiple different departments, if you're running a bigger business, you have marketing, engineering, sales, customer success, and all of those teams know exactly what the priorities are in the business at all times. And if there's not too many, then they will be able to create initiatives within themselves and run autonomously to help you achieve those goals faster.
100%. And people have to be honest with themselves. If you're launching a product and you want to launch 3 different products, and you're going to, if you pick the right order, which a lot of people are not, and you need to do that, you got to be aware that like you might need to go and build the product, and then you need to go and talk to customers, and then you need to iterate on copy, and then you need to look at what are scalable processes and automations to it. And if you're somebody who's not good at the talking to customers part, or not good at iterating on copy, but you love the product part, you're going to launch the product part and then not want to do the sales part and have a resistance to it because you either didn't hire for it or you didn't scale up for it, which means now you're always going to have that bottleneck there. And then you're going to go and launch the next product and get the product built and then get that because you love the product, right? Or you don't love the product part, so you'll get a cheap product done, and then you'll go and work on selling it, but then it doesn't retain sales, or it doesn't actually acquire the sales you need, even though you're good at talking to people, but you didn't actually make a good product that was worthy of pulling people in and retaining people and getting repeat purchases or repeat usages, right? So people have to be honest with themselves on, are you actually going to always keep bottlenecking at that point in the process? And then that's what causes you to launch the next thing, to where you feel good when you're doing the part you like, but then you continually hit that bottleneck. So you have to be honest with yourself too, because if you're not, that also affects your priority system.
Yeah, something that I want to add here too is like priorities at the micro level are extremely important as well, because meeting to meeting, if you don't know beforehand what the priorities are to get done during that meeting, then it has huge cascading effects to the next day, the next week, because there's some meetings that I've had where we want to achieve multiple different goals during the meeting at one time, and we're working on multiple different projects. There's always more work to do, obviously, and you want to get as much work done as you can possibly get done in one meeting. But then when the meeting runs 2 hours long and you've achieved multiple different things, but then it affects your sleep, then it affects, your next day's energy. It has cascading effects that you might not want within the business, because those affect the other priorities, the bigger priorities that you're trying to hit long term. So the priorities during your meetings at the micro level of even just keeping your meeting to 15 minutes long, keeping it as efficient as humanly possible should be a priority in itself. But within each meeting itself, like knowing the priorities, knowing what they mean, why you're doing it, when you're doing it, will create amazing cascading effects in the long term, because then each meeting will be efficient and prioritized, and then you'll be able to hit those bigger priorities long term.
100%. In individual life and company life, people have to realize and become more aware that it is infinite. It is infinite, the number of things you can grow in a company. There is no, hey, once I get this done, I can chill. Like Google becomes Alphabet, which is then working on health initiatives, we're then working on Waymo self-driving cars. There is an infinite amount of space that an individual or a company can grow. And so what matters is your capital efficiency in doing those things, which means ordering of steps, ordering of products, ordering of hires. So we need to be able to look and say, can I fit these tasks into, say, whatever the time frame is, the 40-hour week, right? You can set yourself to whatever hours per week you want to set, but can I fit it within 40 hours? And then do your priority systems within there to make sure that in this time horizon of 40 hours, in this time horizon of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 1 year, I'm doing these things. Look, I have a million different things I can do to grow as a human or as a company, but what can I fit within the bandwidth box of the number of hours I have as human or my team has, and what can I fit? People aren't doing the calculation of what can actually fit. Make it fit And then whatever's not in the top priority, move it forward into a future month, into a future year bucket. And then if you want to reorder them for more efficiency, reorder them. Some products, you might have a favorite product, an exciting product, but if another one has a better margin, it's gonna be better for you to release that one with a better margin first, which gives you more cash runway to launch that other product. It's fine if you want to start a lot of companies and a lot of product, but you have to be one of the best executors in the world